Yes, people. Breaking news. Fabrizio Romano has now confirmed that Arsenal have started initial talks with RB Leipzig or Šeško's representatives. I don't know exactly who or what, but a tweet reads, understand Arsenal have started moving initial concrete talks for Benjamin Šeško deal. He's always been high on recruitment team management Mikel Arteta list, with attempts to get deal done rejected by Leipzig in May 2024 and January just gone. Now Šeško will leave, Arsenal on it. So to be honest with you, he doesn't really get into who we've made contact with. You know, is it the club? Is it his agent? What's really going on? Who knows? Because yeah, at this moment in time, I'm looking around and seeing other clubs really moving and either securing targets or pretty much securing targets around us in the Premier League, and a much needed position, albeit the window's not open yet. It still seemed very up in the air in terms of which direction we're going to go. Would it be Gyökeres, where the rumours came in alongside Berta, who's the new sporting director, as we all know, or was it Šeško, the one that apparently we've been chasing for a couple windows now, whilst also being told that Isak is the main priority, and so on. I'm not going to be cheeky about it. It's very Arsenal, in my opinion. Now, let me talk on Šeško. I think he's a good prospect, and I think good is about right. I'm yet to see what the hype is about. I understand he's got attributes similar to what Arteta has seemingly wanted from his striker, false nine, whatever it is, over the last couple of years. It seems like he's got those attributes and a bit more in terms of being an out-and-out nine. So I assume Arteta is getting his man, or will have his man, if Šeško is the one that we go for. How I feel about that, at the end of the day, it's his project, it's his process, and if he feels that this is the one that's going to get it over the line this coming season, then so be it. But if this coming season comes and goes without a trophy and reasons, excuses around the striker being young, needing to get used to England, London, not having scored a 20-goal season before in his brief career, then I'm sorry, those excuses won't run. And that brings me to the other side of things with Šeško. I think he's very raw. Like I said, a good prospect, good potential, but is that what we need right now? Gyökeres is on the market. When you look at a Šeško, you could only dream that his numbers come close to a Gyökeres, even if he fulfills his potential, reaches his ceiling. Whereas a Gyökeres, 27 years of age, primed, ready to take that next step, in my opinion. Again, surprised that no other clubs are really sniffing around him in terms of in the limelight. I'm sure there are behind the scenes, but a sporting director did come out yesterday, Sporting's, confirming that there's been no bids made, no contact made with Sporting about Victor Gyökeres. So surprising, not really. The Arsenal way, a lot of talk, not very much action. And even this Fabrizio Romano tweet, I mean, understand Arsenal have started moving initial concrete talks for. Is this talk even between Arteta and Berta? Has it even left the internal side of things yet? We don't really know from what Fabrizio said, but what we do know is between Fabrizio and David Ornstein, whenever they mention a player and a club, there's something in there, and more often than not, it gets the ball rolling, and things do materialize. But as we know as Arsenal fans, as we should know as Arsenal fans, sometimes we get linked with every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and none of them walk through the door. Šeško. If this was the plan all along, then I look back at January and just think, how can you throw a season away to wait for a 21-year-old striker that is yet to really prove himself? How can you talk about when you're at this table in terms of competing at the highest level, securing the best targets is a necessity when you look around? That quote came out in and around Liverpool getting Verts over the line, an example of that. You cannot skip a beat in the transfer window, and I just feel like with Šeško, we are skipping a beat in Gyökeres. He's the bagsman, and that's exactly what we need. Goals. I understand Šeško might invade space. He looks like he is a space invader as well. I understand he can drop in, play a bit deeper. But guess what? I want my striker to strike in and around the box. No dilly, no dally, no messing about. And I just feel like this signing, again, it's going to need time. It's going to need trust, faith, and it's going to need a trajectory that, to be honest with you, over the last 12 months, we haven't seen from Šeško. This season, he's got 13. Well, he got 13 goals in the Bundesliga, having played around 30 games. Off the top of my head, I do have it somewhere, but that's coming off the back of a season where he scored 14 goals from 17 starts. You know, that season in isolation, 17 starts, 14 goals. You're thinking, wow, you give him more game time. He nearly doubles up on his games. 30 starts this season. He's got less goals. So the trajectory across the last 12 months, given more responsibility, more accountability, Openda, he's kind of become the main man, Šeško, in terms of the go-to. He hasn't really kicked on from that. So is it the right time for him and his, career to be taking this big leap? Not just physically and getting used to it, but mentally too. Because I'll speak for myself, but I know a lot of people think similar. We're on the edge in terms of this process and what it is due to deliver, if anything at all. So any signing coming through the door in the next 2 months, they're going to be looked at as the ones that take us from second to first. Is that a responsibility that we should be putting on a 21-year-old that hasn't scored 15 goals in the Bundesliga? Probably not. Would it be his fault? No. And when you consider the price tags being thrown around, now this hasn't come from Romano or Ornstein, so take it with a pinch of salt, but rumours are 80-90 million pounds. So we're talking 110, 120 million euros potentially. When you also throw that into the equation, it sounds like Gyökeres would be the cheaper deal, which is crazy. 90 something goals in 100 and something games, 27 prime, done it for his club in his league, albeit a poor league, done it for his club in Europa in Champions League against top teams, does it for his international side. Whereas I look at Šeško, and listen, I don't watch Slovenia, but he's got about 13 goals in 40 games or 16 goals in 40 games. It's hardly wow. It's hardly looking at Haaland when he was younger and the numbers and efficiency, productivity he was putting up. So I'm not too sure why, if the rumours are to be believed, we've sacrificed windows to be able to get a Šeško. It's one thing sacrificing windows for an Isak, which I wouldn't run as an excuse. When you've got an opportunity, you've got to take it, not think about what opportunity could come next. Grasp the one in front of you before you think about what next. But again, I think it's an indication what the club is really about. But at the same time, it's also rumored to be believed this is Arteta's guy. And a lot of people will say, well, he deserves to get his guy in. He should get his guy in, whether you want to put all the accountability on him now this coming season. I think with Šeško, Arteta will have to make it work. Now, it also probably comes with Havertz starting the season as centre forward. Mikel. It is what it is. I mean, it's not my first rodeo with Arsenal in a transfer window, won't be the last. Now, what the club can do, and let's not leave it all doom and gloom, is show out on the left wing. You bring Rodrigo in, then it's still not understandable considering Gyökeres is the cheaper deal. But then, okay, you take the attention away from Šeško a little bit. You have Saka, you have Rodrigo, and then you have a young striker that hopefully hits the ground running because he needs to. So if Arsenal do something along those lines, then okay. But Liverpool have Wirtz walking through the door, top attacking player. We've gone for Šeško, so it seems. Let me know if you believe it. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know you're happy, content, over the moon. Not so happy, frustrated. Same old Arsenal. Hit the like button, people. That's the breaking news. We'll keep you up to date with anything else that pops off in the next few hours, tomorrow, the day after, and obviously when the transfer window opens, Robbie's going to be on his transfer daily. So make sure you're subscribed. Love for the love, people. I'm out. Peace.